if you've watched my videos before, you can see we have a little change of scenery today, but I'm back with another NYU video. And today's video is a crash course on the Econ major at NYU. I just made a Twitch account, which I linked in my YouTube in the top right corner. I don't know.
She come here, look for you.
Alright. Kitty! You is my little puppy. She's gonna stay for the video. As I was saying, I just made a Twitch account, which I linked in my channel. I was inspired to give streaming a try, so be sure to join so we can like hang out and talk more in real time. And occasionally I might be streaming some League of Legends videos, even though I totally suck. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But anyway, let's talk about the Econ major at NYU. So it's a really popular major, and while I'm only a sophomore, I've spent a lot of time studying the curriculum and trying to see what kind of career doors it may open. Because I spent like so much time during the year weighing the pros and cons of switching to a different major, to the MCC major at Steinhardt, I'm going to be telling you guys in detail about all of this starting now. There are two tracks to the major. There is the policy track and the theory track. Theory track is harder and has more of a heavy math focus, whereas policy side has easier, less heavy math requirements. So simply put, to get an econ degree in NYU's College of Arts and Sciences, you need to fulfill the following. 7 core courses. I'm pursuing the policy track, so let's begin with that. The 7 core courses are Intro to Microeconomics, Intro to Macroeconomics, Intermediate Microeconomics, Intermediate Macroeconomics, Statistics for Econ. 1 course chosen from the following 3 options: Money and Banking, International Econ, Urban Econ. And the last of the 7 core courses is Introduction to Econometrics. A really quick note, you can use high school AP credit for Introduction to Macro and Introduction to Micro using your AP Macro and AP Micro scores, but there are some things you need to be aware of, and I'll tell you guys about that a little bit later on in the video. They don't let you transfer AP Statistics credit to cover your statistics class. In addition to these 7 classes, you have to choose 3 other electives in the econ department. They have specific requirements for that detailed on their site. And you'll also have a math requirement, which is pretty straightforward. It's 2 classes, Math for Econ 1 and Math for Econ 2. And you cannot use AP credit to transfer out of this. So every class I listed above is a 1 semester class. So to fill the math requirement, they recommend you to take MFE1 and MFE2 consecutively. As for the theory track, it's pretty much the same idea but with a slight variation in the courses. You'll still have to take 7 core requirements, but instead of taking regular statistics for econ as you would in the policy track, you'll have to take analytical stat, and instead of intermediate micro and macro, you'll have to take micro and macroeconomic analysis. Then you'll have to take 4 electives from NYU's Econ department with specific requirements about those 2. As for the math requirement, you also have to take MFE1 and MFE2, and MFE3 is not required, but I think usually people do take it. So now I'm going to talk about a few variations of the econ major. NYU College of Arts and Sciences provides 2 options for having a joint major. The first is econ plus comp-sci, and the second is econ plus math. They also give you the option of minoring in econ, which has a much less hefty set of requirements. And they have an option for honors economics major, which, to be honest, I don't know anything about, but you can find out more information on the link in my description. Okay, so now that I've covered that quick overview, I'm going to get a little bit more personal and tell you guys about my experience so far, and give you guys a few personal tips from me to you about basically being successful in this major. My tips so far are: remember always to try to sign up early. Sometimes you aren't going to get a choice because you're assigned a time slot for registering for courses by your counselor, but professor really matters. So you're gonna really want to do your research ahead of time. Don't miss any deadlines for signing up for classes, but research the course, go on Rate My Professor, ask your friends, see what they've heard through word of mouth. Really try to know and select a specific class by a specific professor. The content, the class structure, your grade, and your overall experience with the class will probably be different from professor to professor. My second tip, don't sign up for 8 a.m.s if you're not an early bird. A lot of freshmen enter with a mindset, me included, where I'll sign up for 8 a.m.s because it'll force me to get up earlier and start my day earlier. I signed up for an 8 a.m. for the first semester. That was my Math for Econ 1 class, and it was not a pleasant experience. I could never wake up by 8 a.m. It's so easy to not go to class. From second semester, I was like, I will never pick an 8 a.m. econ class again. But unfortunately, I got assigned another 8 a.m., which was statistics this semester. And after learning my lesson, it was better because I forced myself to get up early, but it was still pretty bad. So yeah, long story short, if you aren't like super good at getting up early, never pick an 8 a.m. econ class because you'll probably regret it. My third tip is to be sure to balance your schedule. So my fourth tip is to write out a 4-year plan. This can help you a lot, especially if you're looking at graduating early or finishing early or adding in extra majors. I did this a lot throughout the year and it's really helpful. So just write down each year, give yourself 4 or 4.5 slots per semester, and I said 4 to 4.5 because you're entitled to take a maximum of 18 credits, which is 4 4-credit classes and 1 2-credit class. The standard, I think, is taking 4 classes, which would be 16 credits, but technically you can take another 2-credit class already paid for by your tuition. I took one and it was like a singing class. This semester I'm taking one and it's a guitar class, so they're kind of like chill classes usually, which makes sense because it's a 2-credit. And if you want to take more classes than that, then you'll have to pay extra. Like I was saying, write out a 4-year plan, write out the classes that you're going to take each year, and then you'll be able to figure out if you can fit in a double major or fit in a minor or 2, or I don't know, maybe graduate a semester early. And you've probably heard of the business studies minor. It's a minor that a lot of people pair with the econ major. It's a cross-school minor because you'll be taking certain classes. If you are an econ major or minor though, they have like a separate track than basically any other major with business studies. So you'll have to take like different classes because a lot of the classes overlap. Okay, my 5th tip is to join the NYU Economics Society. I met them at the start of the year and joined them as a marketer. It's a really great way to learn new things and meet new people, and it's been one of the highlights of my year, I would say. If you guys have any questions about that club, just totally reach out to me. You can also follow our club's Instagram. So if your high school offers AP Micro and AP Macro, you can test out of Intro to Micro and Intro to Macro, which is knocking 2 courses out of your 7 core course requirement for econ major right away. That sounds really tempting, but I think that the courses taught at NYU from Intro to Micro and Intro to Macro might be taught differently, and so you'll have like a little bit different of a background. Also note that if you do skip out and take a harder econ class earlier on, you'll set yourself up for a little bit more of a challenging position because you'll be surrounded by sophomores and upperclassmen in your class who are more knowledgeable and have more college experience, I guess. Yeah, it's not a terrible idea, but just weigh the costs. So I asked a lot of people about their experience with graduating as an econ major, or their experience with like looking for internships, jobs, careers, and like what kind of career doors that this major opens. And so far the response that I've gotten is that unlike a lot of other more specific majors, like accounting for example, where you would graduate and pretty much become an accountant if you're following that track, and finance, where you'd pretty much major in finance or have a concentration in finance, and then go out into the real world and work like a finance job. Econ is like not really like that because, well, technically it's also liberal arts, because while it is pretty math heavy, econ is still like technically a philosophy. Basically my point is that there's no specific career that comes out of econ. It's a pretty general major, which is good because it doesn't close any doors for the future of your career. A lot of people who graduate as an econ major go ahead to become so many different things. They can be involved in politics, can become a lawyer, they can go into finance, or they can go into something more creative, something in the media, PR. I think that's definitely a positive aspect, and after hearing that, that kind of makes sense. It's a really popular, well-established major. Also, because it's such a popular major out there, there's so many resources, so I think it is a great choice at the end of the day, if you're interested in it, of course. And if you're interested in like the arts and more creative fields, and econ might seem a little too logical or analytical for you, you can always pair it with a more creative minor. For now, I think that's all I have to say on being an econ major at NYU. If you guys have any questions, as always, my Instagram DM is always open for you guys to ask questions. Best of luck, and I wish you guys all the best, whether you guys are moving to NYU in a few weeks or if you guys are high schoolers. Hope this was helpful, and thank you guys so much for staying tuned. See you guys next time.